Good morning, YouTube. JT Serenity Farms prepping here. So, what is your plan for November 4th? And what I believe is the massive violence perpetrated by the left that will immediately follow. You do have a plan, right? No matter where you live, you need a plan. Whether you live in a major cesspool libtard city or in the middle of nowhere like I do, you need a plan. You will be affected directly or indirectly by the violence, anarchy, terrorism, riots, looting, burning, assaults, murders that the libtards are gonna commit after Trump's re-election. Now, of course, there is the scenario where the opposite happens and there may be forms of civil unrest in that scenario. Regardless or irregardless of which way it goes down, there's going to be violence. The amount of that violence, I think, is disproportionately libtards with a Trump victory and some groups that know, like the rest of us will, that it was a stolen election. Okay, so I live in the middle of nowhere. The closest city to me is 20 miles away. It's a small one. It's a bunch of sheep. There's not anything to burn down. Not in my opinion. Are there socialist communists in that city? I believe there is. I think 6 of them are on the common council of the city, and a socialist mayor just got blown out in his own primary by another socialist. So yes, they are there. I don't think that city will burn to the ground after Trump's re-election. There's a town with 4,000 to 5,000 people 10 miles from me. It's not going to happen there either. Nonetheless, I'm 5 or 6 hours away from New York City, depending on which part of the city you want to go to. I think it's pretty clear what'll happen there after Trump's re-election. Does that affect me? That could affect the nation, because that cesspool is where Wall Street is, supposedly the economic capital of the world. Is what it is. It affects us whether we believe that or not. And the UN the UN offices are in New York City. Once again, don't know why, that's where they are. And the UN does think that they are the police of the world. They do have much more power than they should. As a matter of fact, they should have no power. But when you have 28 nations signing a agreement that they are fully within their rights to go into any country that they deem has become politically or civilly unstable, and they need to go in to prevent total chaos and anarchy. And believe me, the libtards in this country are fully on board with that. So how would that affect you? I live in the woods. Well, if the violence in several major libtard cities is as bad as they've promised us it will be, supply lines will be shut down, i.e. major highways and byways. Because under martial law or insurrection, the president would institute insurrection because that's his duty and his right. The libtards win, they're going to do martial law just because they can. Either way, the country comes to a standstill. So it doesn't matter where you are and how safe you think you are, you may be safe. I will be safe here. But I will not have anywhere to go for supplies of any kind. One, you're not going to be allowed. There may be roadblocks set up. There is a National Guard unit within the city closest to me. They may be utilized. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm not risking it just for the fact that I'm well known as being a conservative, outspoken patriot, and it's not worth it. I am almost self-sufficient here and can survive quite a long time on my own. Now, so I know how I've prepared. I got my food, I got my water, I got my means of self-defense. I have a small group with me. I have supplies, I have medicines, I have tools. I'm good to go for quite a while. I have my greenhouses, I got my water tanks, I have my firewood. Nothing's perfect, but I've done what I can and I feel confident that I can get by for quite a while. If you live in a city like the one close to me of 20,000, or a cesspool like New York City of 10 million, and you're a patriot, it doesn't matter what your plans are to take care of yourself there. Get out. That is my plan for you. Get out. There is no way to safely stay in a libtard city that's going to be getting burned to the ground. Explain to me the way that you can stay there safely. I'm all ears. I have seen a couple YouTube channels where people are making videos on how to stay safe and survive in a city once there is an SHTF or a WROL. It ain't gonna happen. You might be safe for a day or 2 or 3, but then that is it. Say you live on a 20th floor and there's no power. That means you have no water, no electricity, no elevator. Did I mention you're on the 20th floor? Surrounded above, below, and both sides by people who don't have a clue and are going to be starving, thirsty, sickly, pissed off, and are going to do whatever they have to do to get what they want. Say you make it to the street. I'm assuming you're going to be alone, because if you've got a wife and a couple children and 2.3 dogs and you're trying to carry all your stuff, how do you think that's going to work in a city overwhelmed by chaos, rioting, looting, burning, assaulting? You know the routine. And potentially cops, UN troops, National Guard blocking your every exit. Sewer rolling in the streets within 2 or 3 days as everyone keeps flushing and everything's backed up. Disease, no water. There is no way to stay in a city. I don't care what video you've watched. It's not going to be possible under what I believe is coming. I just don't see how you can stay there safely. But I'm ready to listen if you can tell me how you've got it figured out. I don't make this video for myself. I'm trying to help you. You probably don't even own a car if you're in a major city. How you getting out? If you're still there the day after the election, how you getting out? You can take the train, the metro, the subway. With no power, I believe those run by electric, and those would be really safe anyway, won't they? Wife, children, all your bags. You're going to be lucky if you have the wife and children by the time you get where you're going, if you manage to get there. It's not going to work. You hopefully have made plans to be gone before November 3rd. It's time for a vacation. You must have relatives that live somewhere outside a major city. I'm not talking an hour away. 2 or 3 minimum. Give it about 2 weeks of total chaos, and the sheepletards, they're gonna maybe attempt to leave the city. The overwhelming majority have no vehicles, and they are counting on Big Brother to come in and save their sorry asses. So they're going to stay there until it's too late, and then they're going to be sheeple in bread lines who probably never get back from the bread line to wherever they're living. Most of them are too lazy to try and walk any type of distance to get away from the situation they actually created. Get out of the city. I think I mentioned that already. I hope and pray for you people in the cities that you have a plan. Most jobs are closed down. Nobody's going to know if you're gone. You have to start thinking ahead. Don't wait until November 2nd to decide what you're going to do. A lot of these cities are going to be taking precautions a few days before November 3rd in preparation. I already know from a couple sources that this is being done. They are preparing for massive chaos, terror, rioting, looting. It's their job. They listen to what the Democrats have said for the past few weeks, and they must make preparations. while they're hoping it happens, they're making preparations. It's not to keep people out. They want you in. You need to get out. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, send me a message, we'll email. I'll tell you what I can and try and help you out if you want any kind of advice. Like I said before, I don't know it all, but I can give you some things that may just help. But for now, JT, signing off.